of Love After Lockup is officially over, and I want to talk about all the couples from the season finale that I have not had a chance to cover yet. We've already talked about Arthur and Hope, Christine and Julian, and Shantae and Troy. Now let's talk about the other couples. So we have Latisha, and she actually really wasn't in the season finale. All we saw was like a short update from her at the end of the episode where she admitted that she was arrested earlier this year. For those of you guys who missed it when it came out, she was arrested in April after she stole a client's tax money in April of 2023. Someone hadn't done their taxes in 2021 or 2022, so they came to Latisha in 2023 to catch up on the last 2 years of taxes, and Latisha was like, okay, you owe almost $9,000, and all you need to do is just pay me the $9K, I'll take care of it, and this is all done. She never took care of it, and almost a year later, this person finds out that not only do they owe almost $9,000 to the IRS, but now they owe all this money in interest from penalties, from the late fees, from not paying in time. And this is all because they entrusted Latisha with their taxes. And Latisha, of course, like always, is trying to act like the victim and say, oh, I don't know why this happened to me, but I'm facing up to 5 years in prison. And she does have a court date coming up for these charges, and she also has multiple other lawsuits going on right now. And Keith just got out of prison on September 24th, and he's staying in a halfway house. And I have heard that allegedly she's not even allowed to go up to the halfway house and see Keith anymore, because allegedly his probation or parole officer found out that Latisha is a felon and that she was just arrested earlier this year. I don't know how true that is. I don't have concrete proof to prove that. That's just what I heard from a source, and this source has been on point with everything else they've told me in the past. And now let's talk about Bianca and Daniel. I haven't really covered them much this season just because there's not really much that pops out to me with them. I think the last time I talked about these two is when I made a video talking about how Daniel ended up not going to the halfway house because him and Bianca were posting on Instagram and talking about living together, and Daniel ended up calling his PO once he got out of prison and said, hey, I want to go to my girlfriend's instead of the halfway house, and they actually gave him permission to do that. But Daniel's family is really concerned about Bianca, and they don't feel like she's the best influence for him because she does not see her drinking in front of Daniel as a big deal. She's like, look, I'm young, I haven't gotten any trouble, I don't have a drinking problem, so I should be able to still drink, and you shouldn't be able to get in the way of that. But the thing is, like, if you're going to be having alcohol in the house, that's just going to increase the chances of him relapsing. I really hope Bianca does not drag him down, and unfortunately I don't feel like she's gonna take this very serious until it's too late and he does end up drinking, and then she's gonna be regretting her decisions of making alcohol so accessible around him and putting alcohol on a pedestal pretty much. And I feel like that's something that she should have been understanding about when she went and sought out somebody who was locked up for having a drinking problem and somebody who has lost their own brother due to partying. And now let's talk about Kim and Joey. These two, I don't know. I feel like they're going to be a hot mess express in this season of Life After Lockup. So Kim decides she wants to have this big engagement party. She spent a couple $1,000s on it. And Joey decides to try to go meet up with his ex-girlfriend. And I'm not buying that he called his ex to go meet up with him. I feel like this is something that producers just kind of set up to, use for a clip to try to hype up the episode. And I feel like they knew from the jump that the ex wasn't going to show up, and that's exactly what happened. Joey was just at a park walking around looking dumb, and the ex ghosted him, and then he ends up going back home, and him and Kim go to this engagement party, and you can tell that Kim is pretty much the one who's put all the money and all the time into preparing for this engagement party. And they show up, and Kim has her friends there, and she brings her friend Tatum, I think that's her name, and that's the girl that ended up dating Joey when she was a teenager, and Joey ended up cheating on her with Kim back when they were young, and Kim ended up telling this girl and breaking the news to her years later. And they go to the party, and Tatum thought that she'd be fine showing up to the party and being around Kim and Joey. But when she showed up, Joey whistled at her and made her feel really uncomfortable. So she took Kim to the side and she's like, look, I can't do this. And I really feel like you're making a huge mistake by choosing to be with him. And Kim was like, what's wrong? He whistled at you. And I do kind of feel like she was being over dramatic about him whistling at her, but still that was extremely inappropriate for Joey to do. I feel like maybe he was just trying to do it to be funny, but at the same time, knowing that this is a girl you've dated in the past and choosing to do that in front of Kim's friends and family, I just thought that was very disrespectful, and he should have known better to do something like that. And Kim is just trying to brush it off and act like, oh, I think Tatum is just jealous. I don't think Tatum is jealous. I think she just cares about Kim and she wants the best for Kim. And after knowing what Joey did behind her back when she thought everything was good with him, she doesn't want to see the same thing happen to Kim. It's like a car crash that you know is about to happen at any given minute. So Tatum wanted to remove herself from the engagement party because she's not trying to see that all go down. Men come and go, but friends are forever, and when Joey breaks Kim's heart, she's going to be running to Tatum for a shoulder to cry on. So I feel like she shouldn't be so dismissive of how Tatum feels. I can't help but every time I see Joey, I start hearing the song Hips Don't Lie by Shakira in my head because Joey's got some hips on him, boy. People have been saying he's got some woman-bearing hips, like he's about to pop out 2 babies. Kim is out here planning a wedding with this man, yet she cannot trust him at all. She has a tracker on his truck, which she bought for him, just for him to turn around and try to go meet up with his ex with. And she's out here planning this wedding to a man that she can't even trust, all while she's still married to her husband that she was with before Joey. And I wonder if she's going to finally divorce him this next season so we can see her and Joey walk down the aisle. But if I was Kim, I would be taking your time before marrying that man, especially with all the red flags he has been showing since he's been out of prison. Last but not least, we have Zeruiah, Troy, and we finally get to see Troy's baby mama and his daughter. So his daughter finally got to see him after 7 long years, and his daughter is the cutest little girl ever. She looks like the perfect mix of Troy and his baby mama. And his baby mama and Zeruiah were not trying to have any kind of interaction whatsoever. So while Troy was sitting there like hugging all up on his daughter, saying hi to her, Zeruiah's like just right behind them on a lawn chair, just like mean mugging them. I wonder if I have a screenshot of that exact moment. If I don't, I apologize, but if you guys seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking like, okay, maybe the mom said she's not allowed to take pictures, because if I was Zeruiah, I would be wanting to take pictures of Troy's first moment seeing his daughter in years. I'd be trying to introduce myself. Troy finally got to see his daughter, and then after he had his little moment with her, Zeruiah came up, shook her hand, introduced herself, and then Troy went into the front yard to talk with his baby mama. And he's like, you know, thank you for bringing her. I appreciate you. And she's like, no problem. And he's like, you know, summer's coming up right around the corner and she's going to be with you up until then. But once summer hits, how about you let my daughter come with me and Zeruiah for a week? And the baby mama was not having it. She's like, look, you don't even know Zeruiah right now. This is way too early. I do not feel comfortable with all that. And a lot of people were saying they felt like Troy's baby mama was being bitter and like they felt like she still had feelings for Troy, and that's why she was being like that. I feel like she was just being protective of her daughter, and I was agreeing with everything that she was saying to Troy about, look, you don't even know Zeruiah. Like, yes, you guys may have been married, you guys may have been together for a few years now, but literally you just got out. And here's the thing, Troy just got out, and Zeruiah was literally acting a fool in front of Troy's mom, Karen, literally days of him being out of prison. And if she's going to act like that in front of the mom, then I feel like she'll act like that in front of the daughter if she has the chance. So I feel like they got to work on some of their issues first before they're in a proper place to start letting Troy's daughter coming around. Plus, with Zeruiah not caring for the baby mama, I feel like the daughter might come over, and we don't know what Zeruiah could be saying about the baby mama in front of the daughter, and she could be brainwashing the daughter, and that could not be good at all whatsoever. So I feel like Zeruiah really needs to introduce herself and maintain a good relationship with Troy's baby mama if she wants to be in Troy's daughter's life, and so they can all get along so they don't have to worry about things like that. And Troy was claiming in a Facebook Live today when people were like, oh, you know, why is the wife and your baby mama beeping like that? And he's like, it's all for the show, guys. That's what they wanted us to do because it wouldn't be fun if they're just all getting along like that, which I don't know. I feel like there might be a little bit of truth to it. Like maybe they wanted them to act like they had more beef than they really did. But I know for sure that they definitely have some beef from the stuff in the past. So I definitely feel like he was downplaying it as well. And this is what I don't understand. He wanted to be with his daughters so much, and then his baby mama was like, yeah, I'm letting my daughter stay with your family for the night because your family's around. If I was Troy, I would have been wanting to stay. After they were done, Troy just gets in the car with Zeruiah and leaves. Like, you have not seen your daughter in 7 years. If I was Troy, I'd be wanting to stay at my mom's house, or, well, yeah, that's where Troy's daughter was staying. I'd want to stay there up until she left and make the most out of her time. And I feel like just because the baby mom was like, oh, I don't want Zeruiah around, I would have told Zeruiah to go back home so I can spend some one-on-one time with my daughter, because I feel like that's what he needs to be focusing on more than anything else, is when he is around his daughter, making sure it's just about her and only her and making the most out of that time. He has so much lost time to make up for it. Troy and Zeruiah are coming back for Life After Lockup, and it definitely seems like there's no shortage of drama with them this season, because I saw at least a few different fights with them just in the previews. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think that is all the couples for this season of Love After Lockup. I just wanted to wrap that up and give my final thoughts. My overall thoughts on this season, if I could give this season a grade, I would probably give it like maybe a C minus. I want to say D, but I feel like that might be a little too harsh. I'm going to be honest, I just feel like there wasn't a lot going on this season outside of finding out that True cheated on Shantae a few times. But, I mean, if you've been keeping up with my videos, then a lot of us already knew that. And besides that, I mean, and Zeruiah freaking out on Troy, but besides that, it just seemed like a lot of filler episodes and like there wasn't much worth talking about. There was more drama off camera than there actually was on camera. And I mean, I know it's like that every season, but it just seems like they left out so much that they could have talked about and touched on this season. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this season in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.